Hey everyone, and welcome to the Deep Dive. So today we're looking at the future of work. We've got research, articles, even some personal stories piled up over here, and it all seems to be pointing to this one really big question. Will traditional jobs even exist in the future? Are we all going to have to become entrepreneurs just to survive?
Well, it's amazing how quickly things seem to be changing, isn't it? We've got AI, automation, the whole nine yards. The world is changing so fast, and it's not just science fiction anymore. These changes are affecting industries right now, today.
Okay, so let's try to unpack this a little. We've all seen those headlines, robots taking our jobs. But is it all just hype? Or is there something real to worry about?
There is definitely something real to worry about. For example, McKinsey predicts that automation could displace up to 800 million jobs globally by 2030.
800 million. Wow, that's a big number. And it's not just factory jobs either, right? We're talking white-collar jobs, too.
Exactly. And we're not just talking about robots fully taking over jobs either. AI can also augment existing jobs, which makes some skills obsolete and creates a demand for new ones.
So it's not just about job losses then. It's like a total reshuffling of the skills that people need. So how do you navigate that? How do you navigate this career earthquake?
That's where this idea of entrepreneurship as a survival skill comes in. We're seeing so many people leaving traditional 9 to 5 jobs and going solo.
So the source material we're going through for you today kind of boldly states, don't work, jobs are outdated, only entrepreneurs will survive. Now, is that too extreme, or is there something to that?
Well, it's definitely a strong statement, but to be honest, there's a reason that message resonates with so many people. Because the traditional career path that just isn't as secure and reliable as it once was. Entrepreneurs, at least in theory, have more control over their future.
They make the decisions, right? They're not waiting around to get laid off.
Exactly, and there's data to support this shift that is already happening. In 2020, Upwork reported that 36% of the U.S. workforce was already freelancing full-time.
Wow, over a third of the workforce. So if jobs as we know them are disappearing, does that mean we're all supposed to become like the next Elon Musk?
Not necessarily. Entrepreneurship isn't just about starting a billion-dollar tech company. It's about a certain mindset, a way of thinking. It's about being adaptable. It's about being resourceful. It's about seeing opportunities where other people see problems.
So even if you aren't cut out to be a CEO, these entrepreneurial skills are still valuable in this changing world.
Absolutely. Even within traditional companies, you'll find that the people who succeed are often the ones who think outside the box. They're the problem solvers. They're the creative thinkers. They're the ones who can adapt to new challenges. They're the entrepreneurs.
Right, so it's like even if you're on a big ship, you still got to be nimble on deck. But this idea of entrepreneurship for survival, isn't that kind of scary for a lot of people? Not everyone is comfortable with that kind of risk.
That's a really good point. Entrepreneurship definitely isn't for everyone. It's not a magic solution. There are plenty of ways to succeed in the future of work. The key is to be aware of these changes and to proactively adapt your skills to them.
So it's not everyone must be an entrepreneur. It's more about having that entrepreneurial mindset.
Exactly. It's about being proactive, resourceful, and adaptable, whether you're starting a business, climbing the corporate ladder, or even just navigating the gig economy.
So basically, instead of being scared of the robot apocalypse, we should be learning to dance with the robots.
You got it. We should be embracing the opportunities that come with these new technologies and find ways to make those technologies work for us.
I love that. Okay, so it sounds like the world of work is definitely changing, and it's changing quickly. And entrepreneurship is this hot topic right now. But it's more about adopting an entrepreneurial spirit, regardless of what career you have. But what does that actually look like? What are the specific skills that we should be focusing on?
Well, one of the most valuable skills is adaptability, the ability to learn new things quickly and to pivot when circumstances change, and not being afraid to step outside your comfort zone.
So it's not about having like a fixed set of skills. It's about constantly learning new things, almost like how software needs updates, we need brain updates.
That's a great way to put it. The days of learning one skill and using it for 40 years are over. Now it's all about continuous learning, being curious, and picking up new skills all the time.
Okay, so adaptability is important. What else? What other skills are going to be essential in this, let's call it the era of the hustle?
Creativity is going to be huge. AI is already starting to take over a lot of the routine, repetitive tasks. What's left for us humans are the things that require creative problem solving, critical thinking, and that spark of ingenuity that robots haven't quite figured out yet.
Right, like, I mean, a robot can probably write a decent email, but it can't invent something new or write a movie that makes people laugh and cry.
Exactly. Those are the human touches, the emotional intelligence, the ability to connect with others on a deeper level. Those are the skills that will set us apart. It's almost like if you can do something that can be easily automated or outsourced to a cheaper workforce somewhere else, then you're probably in the wrong line of work.
So find something that robots can't do, right? That's a little intimidating, to be honest. What if, my passion is data entry?
Well, even within data entry, there are opportunities to specialize, to find niches that really require human judgment or an in-depth understanding of a particular industry. But yeah, it's definitely a good time to think about the skills that will be valuable in the future and to start developing those now.
Okay, so we've got adaptability, we've got creativity. What else should we be packing in this survival toolkit for the future of work?
Resilience is super important. Entrepreneurship, especially, is full of ups and downs. You need to be able to handle rejection, bounce back from failures, and keep going even when things get tough.
It's like that saying, fall down 7 times, get up 8.
Exactly. It's that grit, that determination that sets successful people apart. And this isn't just for entrepreneurs either. In any career you choose, you're going to face challenges and setbacks and unexpected changes. Being able to adapt and bounce back is going to be crucial.
So we've got adaptability, we've got creativity, we've got resilience. It's like we're building a superhero, right? But let's get real for a second. If someone is listening to this and feeling totally overwhelmed by all this change, what's one small thing they can do, like today, to start getting ready for this future of work?
I'd say start by figuring out your strengths and weaknesses. What comes naturally to you? What do you enjoy learning about? And then look for ways to build on those strengths and to address those weaknesses. There are tons of free online courses and workshops. You can even just read books and articles on topics that interest you. The important thing is to be proactive and take charge of your own development.
So it's not about waiting for someone to give you a map. It's about making your own map.
It's right. The future of work is about being independent, adaptable, and always growing. It can be a little scary, but it's also really exciting because it means you're in control.
I like that. It's empowering. Okay, so we've talked about the individual skills that people need, but what about the bigger picture? Are there any trends or technologies that you're particularly excited about? Things that might actually shape the future of work in a positive way?
Oh, absolutely. Well, one thing I'm really excited about is the rise of the creator economy. Platforms like YouTube, TikTok, Etsy, they're giving individuals the power to build their own brands, make money from their passions, and connect directly with their audience. It's like entrepreneurship, but supercharged.
So it's like you don't need a record deal to be a musician anymore. You can just build your own following online.
Exactly. And this applies to more than just creative fields. We're seeing experts in all sorts of areas creating online courses, offering coaching, and sharing their knowledge with the world. It's democratizing access to education and creating new income opportunities for people who might feel trapped in traditional jobs.
That's incredible. So technology is basically giving people the tools to bypass all the traditional gatekeepers and build their own empires.
In a way, yeah. Of course, there are challenges. Building any successful online business takes a lot of work and dedication. And you need to know how to market yourself effectively. But the potential is huge. It's really inspiring to see people taking control of their own futures like this.
Okay, so the creator economy is definitely something to keep an eye on. What else is on your radar? Are there any other technological trends that have you excited about the future of work?
Well, I'm really fascinated by virtual and augmented reality. Imagine a world where you can collaborate with colleagues from all over the planet in a virtual space, or train for a new job using these immersive simulations. The possibilities are mind-blowing.
So it's like being inside a video game, but for work. Sign me up. I mean, that could change everything from online meetings to hands-on training. No more boring slideshows.
Exactly. Think about the potential for education, too. Imagine learning about history by actually walking through ancient Rome virtually, or studying biology by dissecting a virtual frog. It could completely revolutionize the way we learn and make education more engaging and accessible for everyone.
Okay, now I'm really excited about the future. Virtual reality meetings, augmented reality training. It all sounds so futuristic, but are you saying this is actually close to becoming reality?
Absolutely. These technologies are already being used in a number of industries, and as they become more affordable and accessible, we're going to see them become part of our daily work lives in ways we can't even imagine yet.
So it's not just about robots and automation. It's also about these incredible new tools that can actually make us better at what we do and create all new possibilities. It's almost like we should be excited about the future instead of being afraid of it.
I think so. The future of work has its challenges, of course, but it also has incredible opportunities for people who are willing to adapt, learn new things, and think creatively.
I love that attitude. So we've talked about the skills that people need, the rise of the creator economy, the potential of VR and AR. That's a lot of information to process. But if you had to boil it all down, what's the one key takeaway you'd want our listeners to remember?
I'd say the most important thing to remember is that the future of work is in our own hands. We have the power to shape it, to adapt to it, and to make it work for us. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be exciting.
That's a great message. It's empowering and hopeful. So for everyone listening, remember, be curious, be adaptable, be resilient, and above all, be excited. The future is yours to create.
Well said.
And that brings us to the end of this deep dive. We hope you found it insightful and maybe even a little bit inspiring. Remember, no matter what the future of work holds, we have the power to adapt, to innovate, and to create a world where work is fulfilling, meaningful, and above all, human. Thanks for joining us. All right, so we've talked about how the work landscape is changing, the skills we need to develop, and even some really cool technology that's on the horizon. But for someone listening who's maybe feeling a bit lost, like where do they even start? How do they navigate all of this change?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot to take in, but the good news is you don't have to figure it all out at once. Just start with small steps. Ask yourself, what am I really passionate about? What kind of problems do I want to solve? What kind of impact do I want to have on the world?
So it's not about just chasing the hottest job title or whatever's trendy. It's more about figuring out what really matters to you.
Exactly. Your career isn't just about making money. It's about finding purpose and meaning. Once you have a better sense of what you want, you can start exploring different paths that align with your values and goals.
Okay, so let's say you've got that figured out. You know what you want to do. What are some practical steps to actually get started?
Building your network is one of the most important things you can do. Connect with people in your field, go to industry events, join online communities. You never know where your next opportunity is going to come from, and a lot of times it comes from those personal connections.
Kind of like that saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know, right? Although hopefully it's a bit of both.
Right. Ideally, it's a combination of skills and connections, but networking is so important because it lets you learn from other people, get advice, and discover opportunities that you might not have even known existed.
So don't be afraid to reach out to people, even if it feels a little awkward at first.
Exactly. Most people are happy to help and share their experiences. And who knows, the person you talk to today could be your future boss, your collaborator, your mentor.
All right, so networking is definitely key. What else should people be doing to get ready for this future of work?
Never stop learning. Invest in your own personal and professional development. Take online courses, go to workshops, read books and articles. The more you learn, the more adaptable you become. And that's incredibly valuable.
So it's like our brains need regular updates, just like software.
I like that analogy. The world is changing so fast that if you're not learning and growing, you're going to fall behind. And it doesn't have to be formal education either. You can learn by following thought leaders on social media, by listening to podcasts, even just by talking to people who are doing interesting things. There's so much knowledge available, often for free, if you just look for it.
Yeah, stay curious, right? So we've got networking, lifelong learning. Any other advice for our listeners as they navigate this, exciting but maybe slightly scary future of work?
Don't be afraid to fail. You will. It's inevitable. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have setbacks. But it's not the end of the world. In fact, we often learn our most valuable lessons from those failures.
That's easier said than done, though, isn't it? But it's kind of like that fail fast, fail often mindset that you see in startups.
That's exactly it. Don't think of failure as a defeat. Think of it as a learning opportunity. What went wrong? What could you have done differently? How can you use those lessons to improve next time? The people who succeed are ones who are willing to take risks, to try new things, and to learn from their mistakes.
So it's not about avoiding failure. It's about seeing it as part of the process. Okay, I think we've given everyone a lot to think about today. Any last words of wisdom before we wrap up?
Just remember that the future of work is full of potential. It's a time of big changes, but it's also a time of incredible opportunity. Don't be afraid of the unknown. Step outside your comfort zone and make your own path.
I love that. It's not about fitting into some mold. It's about creating your own future. So to everyone listening, be curious, be adaptable, be resilient, and most importantly, be excited. The future is yours to shape.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And that's a wrap on this deep dive. We hope you enjoyed exploring these ideas with us and that you found it insightful, maybe even a little bit inspiring. Remember, no matter what changes the future of work may bring, we have the power to adapt, to innovate, and to create a world where work is meaningful and fulfilling for everyone. Thanks for joining us.